CEO and founder, Neil Tucker.
Honourable Jay Weatherill, MP, Premier of South Australia, the Honourable Andrew McLaughlin, CSC, Member of the Legislative Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend our launch today of the Humani Hut shelter system and the cargo hut. In February 2013, on our back veranda, my wife Kerry and I were entertaining our friends Andrew and Amy Hamilton as our kids swam in our pool not 10 feet from us. At that time, on the other side of the world, the plight of the Syrians fleeing civil war were in stark contrast to the peace, calm and opportunity that our families were enjoying that afternoon. Among a number of conversations between us that afternoon, one was to prove faithful. It centred on the plight of the Syrians and what we as Westerners could do to make their life just a bit better. Why is this important? In the 3 years it has taken to develop this project, the world refugee problem has grown from 42 million people to 62 million people, and the average time a refugee spends in a camp is 12 years. The genesis of the Humani Hut was established that afternoon, and since then it has matured, not just into the structures you see here today, but a complete system of rapidly deployable, robust shelters and storage containers that have captured the interest of the humanitarian aid, emergency response, domestic storage and defence industries for their simple yet innovative evolution of shelter and storage solutions. By making a foldable shelter that when deployed is as solid as any temporary prefabricated building, with services such as clean water, power, sewerage services that we all here take for granted, we have developed rapidly deployable cities that can be established on greenfield sites at such a rate that by the end of the first week, 12,000 people are accommodated with services hooked up and operating. To achieve this, we have designed the Humani Hut to deploy from a shipping container in 5 minutes. When all 16 Humani Huts are fully deployed from their container, the empty shipping container is then reconfigured into toilets, showers and a laundry to service the inhabitants of those 16 Humani Huts. And this is all done in approximately 2 hours. And as this loop runs through, you'll see the deployment of the village that I speak of. We have achieved what we set out to do nearly 3 years ago, and it has been confirmed to me by senior procurement and field operation executives within a number of UN agencies, including those who work within the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, the World Bank, the US Federal Emergency Management Agency, and our own Federal Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, that the Humani Hut shelter system is the first of its type in the market. And I quote from a senior World Bank executive, "It is the future of humanitarian shelter." At the first trade fair we attended in October this year in Washington, the system gained many influential supporters. And already that show has delivered us an agency agreement with a larger multinational company who themselves were developing a foldable emergency shelter but shelved their design when they saw the Humani Hut. This company, which holds contracts with the US government and nearly a dozen international governments, are now partnering with us to deliver this solution to their customer base. The view of the marketplace when they experience the simplicity and innovation of the Humani Hut shelter system can be summed up in the words of 2 lecturers of the Humanitarian Affairs faculty of the United States National Defence University. When asked by their dean of the faculty what they believed was the best innovation in the trade show we've been at, their answer was that the Humani Hut was miles ahead of anything else displayed on that day and would revolutionise the way the industry cares for refugees in the future. And of course we're very pleased with that response. The Humani Hut shelter system is not, however, one shot in the locker into a small global aid market. Its design is so adaptable, we now have interest from numerous international defence agencies that have sought us to adapt the design to rapidly deployable temporary barracks and forward operating posts. Commercial operators who have approached me seeking to establish construction camps for mining operations in Africa and large-scale community capacity building mega camps in the Middle East. We are also excited to learn just last Friday that we have been chosen to fulfil a requirement for rapidly deployable field work accommodation right here in South Australia. More will follow on regarding this in the coming weeks. What will be most pleasing is if this project complete the full circuit, our agents in Jordan can place the Humani Hut into Syria to enable Syrians to have warm and relatively comfortable accommodation whilst they rebuild their lives and their homes. With peace talks beginning between the world powers, our timing may just be perfect, if only the Turkish will stop shooting down the Russians. The Humani Hut project is not just a great manufacturing and commercial opportunity for South Australia. It has a feel-good factor that makes our efforts so worthwhile, and will project Humani Hut and South Australia into significant global markets that we are presently not in. To get the Humani Hut shelter system and the cargo hut to its launch today, many people have had both large and small influence over its evolution. Although most of you here today have had an effect of some sort, there are a few I wish to identify. Firstly, thank you to my wife Kerry and our kids Olivia and James, who have had to live this project and my single focus now for nearly 3 years. In the early stages, the family income convulsed and we fell back on our savings. More recently, Kerry has maintained the home and the kids whilst I have travelled extensively seeking and creating markets for the Humani Hut in all its forms. My business partner, Andrew Hamilton, and has been an exceptional source of commercial entrepreneurial advice, and as we grew our company from a $2 startup to where it is today, and as a practicing cardiologist, he's also kept me alive. In April 2013, I approached Colin White as a manufacturing advisor and John Brooks as an industrial design advisor. And these two gentlemen have had a huge influence over the direction and outcome of this project and have kept Andrew and I from making ill-informed mistakes. John has been the force behind the organisation of today's launch, along with his wife Heather, who has catered today, and has worked tirelessly with Century to ready these two prototypes. I thank them for their ongoing and unwavering support. From its inception, Dale and Susan English, who are here today, have been supporters or were our first investors at a time when we hadn't even completed the proof of concept stage. Soon thereafter, Louise and Mike Harris, who are also here today, invested with the pure motivation of wanting some of their hard-earned wealth going to something that will assist the Syrians as they are confronted by a horrific war. Together, the English and Harris money allowed us to step forward and begin the process of proving the concept and developing a market. The South Australian Government has provided $77,000 in assistance from the Innovation Voucher Program, which allowed us to complete the proof of concept stage, confirmed we had a winner of the design, and we were able to then build our first prototypes. In the federal arena, I would like to thank Senator Simon Birmingham, Senator for South Australia. He couldn't join us today as Federal Parliament is sitting, but together with his staff, he has opened doors for us in Canberra and helped to establish us with humanitarian aid decision makers within the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Along the way, we've had numerous individuals who have identified the opportunity that we saw in Humani Hut, and they have invested with us, and for that, Andrew and I are very grateful. Two of those investors, Dale English, who I've mentioned before, and Adam Turnbull, have gone further and joined the Humani Hut board, and their guidance has been immeasurable. We've been lucky to gain Adam's interest when he had time to give to us, and his attention to the design and manufacturing processes has been a great support to me personally, and has achieved some innovative developments within the Humani Hut's design that would not have been in it today if it were not for his interventions. Three individuals who have remained in the background have, through their expertise, projected Humani Hut into the public domain. Dan McLean, who amongst many things designed our logo. I love it. And our look, ably assisted by Lisa Yakpeta, who designed and manages our social media mediums of our website, Twitter and Facebook pages. Please take the time when you leave here today to have a look at those. If only I knew how to find them. I also wish to thank Sharon Maskell-Dare for her professionalism and tenacity in delivering our media plan. Sharon is an outstanding journalist and professional. I would also like to thank our design partners, Gavin Doyle and his team at Catago, and our manufacturing partners, David Heaslip and his team here at Century Engineering, in whose facility we find ourselves today. Both you and your organisations have enabled this project, and we are pleased to have teamed up with you and hope you think the same. I would also like to thank David for the use of his facility today to conduct this launch. Finally, I would like to thank the Premier for giving up his time today to officiate at this launch and for his government's ongoing support to it. Thank you. Through the professionalism of executives who work within the Department of State Development, especially Mark Ledson and Dermot Cousin, who are both here today. I would also like to thank the Premier for the support he will give this manufacturing and international trade project, even though he doesn't know about it yet. I can assure you, Premier, that we aren't done with you yet. And we will continue to seek yours and your government's assistance as we move to commercialising this product globally. I would now like to introduce the Honourable Joe Weatherill, MP Premier of South Australia, to speak and to officiate the launching of the Humani Range of shelters and self-storage huts. Premier.